Hello, Diane Cox here. Welcome back to my channel, Moonfire Magic. And I can't believe it, so thank you, Vingvong6695, for informing me I had not done the video for the tower and I'd gone straight from the devil and conveniently gone past the tower and gone on to the star. I know why I did that, and it'll become clear when I tell you about this myth, because it's it's disturbing to the mind. So yes, today we're doing the tower, the Mythic tarot deck, as I always show you this lovely Mythic tarot deck, beautiful deck. And so here we have today's card, the tower. So you can see it's Poseidon with his trident, and you can see the clouds in the background, and obviously you can see the lightning struck tower. I think one of the good things about the tower is it is really quite self-explanatory, isn't it? So for this card, I mean, and I'm just going to quickly show you the Rider-Waite. Similar kind, obviously you haven't got Poseidon, it's just the lightning struck tower and people falling off it, and the top, I mean, if you look at the symbolism, the top being blown off it. So here we have Poseidon. We all know who Poseidon is, the god of the seas and earthquakes, actually, which explains why the tower is going, because he probably started some kind of earthquake amid all the storms. He's got, obviously, there he is in the turbulent oceans with his trident, which in this deck does relate to the moon, and therefore we obviously have, when we've got the moon, we've got the deep unconscious instinct, and it is kind of related to the night. And in the background here it looks like a night sky, doesn't it? Dark blue. Poseidon is considered in this form a cold-blooded fishy kind of creature, and because he lives in the ocean, there's a connection here to the deep, kind of detached almost part of the unconscious, which sounds a bit weird to say, but it'll become clear why. Okay, so he's a god, and why has he decided to send his wrath to this tower? I'll tell you, shall I? So in the myth, Poseidon asks the King of Crete to sacrifice a bull. So obviously the King of Crete wants a blessing from the gods, and so Poseidon comes and he says, okay, I will send you a bull, a white bull, to sacrifice specifically to me, Poseidon, god of the sea. Okay, so Poseidon sends this amazing bull, amazing, beautiful, perfect, like prized bull, this white bull, to the King of Crete for sacrifice. And when the King of Crete sees said white bull, he just thinks, oh my goodness, it's the best bull I've ever seen in the entire world, and I am not going to sacrifice this bull. I'm going to keep it and hide it amongst my herd of bulls and use it maybe. I don't think this is actually in the myth, but use it obviously to breed with, probably is, and breed fantastic bulls, fantastic super bulls from the god Poseidon. Well, Poseidon gets wind of this trick that the King of Crete has hidden the bull and not sacrificed it, and he sacrifices a lesser bull to Poseidon, right? Poseidon is a god, he knows these things. And so the King of Crete sacrifices his lesser bull and keeps the super prize white bull to himself. Obviously, this angers Poseidon. But before he gets to this point of actually taking down the tower, you have to ask, what is this tower? And now this is why I think I subconsciously, or not so subconsciously, just went, oh no, not that one, I've got not that myth. So I've got to say it, it's come up, here I am, I've got to talk about it. So when Poseidon finds out that the King of Crete has disobeyed him and kept that white bull to himself, he curses the King of Crete's wife, Pasiphae. Right? Now you might have this disturbing memory come up with the name Pasiphae, Crete, Minos, the Minotaur. You know the whole story. Let me go through it as quick as possible. So basically, Poseidon curses the wife, the queen, Pasiphae, to fall in love with the white bull. Okay? So Pasiphae falls in love with the bull, and she falls in love not just in a, oh, you're such a sweet bull, let me take you into the fields and let me feed you fresh daisies. No, she wants to, how should we say? She wants to have relations with the bull. So she goes, as you probably know, to ask Daedalus if he will make her a wooden cow so she can crawl inside and mate with the bull. It's enough to give you nightmares, isn't it? So that is the myth. And so what happens is this abomination of love, the curse as it is, basically Pasiphae has this child, and it's half man, half bull. It's got a man's body and a bull's head, and it's known as the Minotaur. And the Minotaur was kept in a special labyrinth that no one could kind of find their way out of, and it used to feast on human flesh. So they'd send people into the labyrinth and they'd never find their way out, and then this Minotaur would come and eat them. It's horrible, isn't it? So, and I feel quite sorry for the Minotaur, as okay, it's its karmic path, but hey, it's a bit of a hard karmic path to travel on, isn't it? So what happens in this card, now we've got past that horrible bit, is Poseidon is already obviously full of wrath, but his first wrath went into cursing the queen. And then the second wrath is when he strikes this tower here, basically represents the labyrinth where the Minotaur is hidden. Okay, so in this deck, this tower card is Poseidon striking with wrath and a lot of power the labyrinth building where the Minotaur is hidden. Okay. Now, what this represents is it's not dissimilar to the Rider-Waite. It is blowing the top off something. It is things just that just cannot carry on anymore. It is sudden change. It is things that just have to be razed to the ground. And in this case, in this deck, it is secrets that are must be exposed, and the secret in this case is the Minotaur. Okay, so it's and like with the general feeling of the tower, it's like just pulling down the walls, and that can be walls that are keeping you in or walls that are keeping you out. It's pulling down the edifices of false being, false words, secrets, things that are just kind of it reminds me of governments. Hey, what doesn't remind me of governments? But these things that are built, and in the end they just cannot carry on. This is about the Minotaur being exposed, and therefore in this deck it kind of is related to kind of shame, guilt. I mean, it's like, in the myth, it's like the shame of Crete, that this Minotaur exists, You wonder why they kind of just, well, they could have just sent it to live in a field or something, couldn't they? But no, it did eat human flesh. So anyway, so it's the whole thing about this card. Something has to give. Something has reached its crescendo, its boiling point, and it's something's just got to give, and it does give. And so when this appears in a spread, it's like, okay, things are going to change. The boat is being rocked. Things might be falling into the water. There could be lots of different ways of looking at it. It could be, anything to do with your life. It can be an internal thing. You've been holding on to something. You've been repressing something, and it's going to come up, and all that kind of holding on to secrets, holding on to situations that are untenable. They stop. Okay, and this is the whole pulling down. And again, it can be on an emotional level, a spiritual level, a physical level, a job level, just like any kind of relationship level. Something's got to give in order for things to be reborn. When you raise things to the ground, it clears everything. It's like, you think of a big, like a big demolition of a block of flats and stuff. This big eyesore has basically, it comes down and maybe kind of clears the way for another eyesore. I shouldn't say that eyesores, they're homes for people, and people love their own homes, so maybe that wasn't a very nice way of putting it, but they can be eyesores, we see them in certain places. So here we have the Tower, breaking down existing forms. And it's like, stop pretending, stop putting on a brave face. Stop kind of going, oh, okay, this will change, or I'll just keep, just stop it. And this is also like, stop faking it till you make it. It's like when everything just goes, no, let's just have the truth, let's have honesty, let's have it all out in the open, because the Minotaur, once this comes down, all out in the open, the Minotaur dies in this kind of the pulling down of, in the myth, who is it now that goes in? Is it Theseus? In the myth, Theseus goes into the labyrinth, and he's helped by the daughter, the king's daughter, and he's got this thread, and he takes this thread into the labyrinth. This is how it happens in the myth. He takes his golden thread into the labyrinth so he can find his way out, because normally people can't find their way out. So he takes his thread in, and he actually kills the Minotaur, and then he manages to find his, obviously, way out. In this deck, it's maybe after that, when Theseus has got safe, and basically it's all razed to the ground. So it's about being real. It's about releasing worry. And, just it's like an exhale. It's like, oh, thank goodness thank goodness that's out in the open. Thank goodness we've had a chance to clear the air, and we've had a chance to just kind of really get rid of this. And here it is, Poseidon, the Tower, and the pulling down of something. Now, obviously, depending on what your querent says and what the question is, and the position of the card can be, like if it's in the hopes and fears position, if you're using like a Celtic cross like I do, it's like, well, okay, maybe the person could be hope or a fear, couldn't it? It could be, well, are you hoping that this whole thing just collapses, or are you dreading that this whole thing collapses? And you'll be able to tell about the whole reading which one it's going to be. But yes, it's I kind of like this card, because it's like, okay, it's the situation is coming to an end, whatever. I remember once someone asking me about she'd gone on a date with this guy, and she really wanted to know if he was if he was interested, and this whole thing. And I think I don't know why I remember that reading, because I just remember thinking, no, I think I remember thinking at the time, I do remember at the time that it was like, there's a few things here that aren't quite maybe as she sees them, or he's not quite what she thinks he is, or whatever. So, and anyway, I'm glad to say that the reading was accurate, and he didn't get in touch, and there was all kinds of things that came up about him afterwards, so she got a bit of a lucky escape there. So yes, here we have Poseidon, his trident, and the Tower, and the Minotaur. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that, all very straightforward. And thank you, like I say, to the person who kind of let me know that I'd kind of conveniently missed that. So enjoy, happy tarot readings, and I'll be back with another one soon. Take care now, bye bye.